And for today's Business Matters, Meta is entering the octagon. The UFC says the social media giant has signed on as its first official fan technology partner. This is a multi-year deal that will use Meta's platforms and products to immerse fans deeper into UFC content. Meta owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. It also has mixed reality devices that include Meta AI, Meta Glasses, and Meta Quest. The deal includes brand placement in the Octagon, broadcast features, and integration into events. In a statement, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg said he's looking forward to fans experiencing UFC in new ways. UFC CEO Dana White said Zuckerberg and his team are going to do things that will, quote, blow away UFC fans. And a sharp dip in deliveries for electric car maker Rivian. The company posted a 36% decline in the first quarter. The EV maker is battling weak demand as car buyers opt for cheaper hybrid and gas-powered options. In February, Rivian CFO warned that vehicle deliveries would be lower this year due to soft demand. She noted the dip would partially be an impact from the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles. The company delivered around 8,600 vehicles in the quarter. That exceeded analyst estimates, but is down from last year's 13,000. The deadline for the sale of Panama ports and dozens of worldwide ports arrives today, with no certainty the sale will go through. The Chinese Communist regime has relentlessly criticized Hong Kong conglomerate CK Hutchison for offering up its Panama ports for sale to the U.S. firm BlackRock. Since the deal was first announced, CK Hutchison controls two strategic facilities on both ends of the Panama Canal. The deal would also give BlackRock control of ports in nearly 24 countries for a total of $22.8 billion. But CK Hutchison would still control the ports it owns in Hong Kong and mainland China. The Chinese regime has called the sale unpatriotic and has tried to stifle it. President Trump sees control of the Panama Canal a matter of national security and has not ruled out using force to reclaim it. Depending on the tequila, another round of shots could bring more pain to you than your bank account. Suerte Tequila said it doesn't plan to pass tariffs costs to consumers. The company explained that it has been able to keep overhead low enough to absorb the levies if needed. But other brands like Jose Cuervo tequila maker Basil and Don Julio producer Diageo have warned of possible price hikes. At the same time, tariffs could threaten Kentucky's $9 billion bourbon and distilled spirits industry. The state produces 95% of the world's bourbon and is a top state for distilled spirits exports. Egg prices may be finally giving shoppers a break. According to the Agriculture Department, wholesale eggs dropped to $3 per dozen, a 9% decline from the prior week. The American Farm Bureau says the lower costs come from noticeably fewer bird flu cases. Another factor is that consumers have been buying less eggs, which has helped stores to restock. Despite this cost decrease, egg prices remain historically high. The Consumer Price Index says they're nearly 59% more expensive than they were this time last year. A star-studded season on Broadway is breaking box office records. Attendance is up and so are sales, with major names starring in short, limited runs on stage.
You've got Denzel Washington, Jake Gyllenhaal in Othello. You've got George Clooney in Good Night and Good Luck. You've got Academy Award winner Kieran Culkin and a star cast in Glengarry Glen Ross. You've got Sadie Sink coming right across the street in John Proctor. Right behind me, you have Sarah Snook, who is in Dorian Gray. You've got Nick Jonas and Adrienne Warren in The Last 5 Years. Robert Downey Jr. just closed in McNeil Uptown.
Broadway World Entertainment reporter Richard Ridge says the shows with the big names have very limited runs because these stars only have a short break from movies and TV shows. He said that means musicals are costing upwards of $25 million and pays up to $6 million, causing an increase in ticket prices so producers can at least break even. 43 Broadway shows will open this season. In addition to the excitement over the A-listers, Broadway mainstays are also generating buzz with their returns. Tesla sales plunged 13% in the first quarter of this year. The company reported it delivered 50,000 less vehicles in the quarter compared to the first 3 months of last year. That's the biggest decline in the company's history. Backlash against Tesla CEO Elon Musk and growing competition in the EV market have affected demand for Teslas. And could the benefits of artificial intelligence outweigh its potential downside? New research from Elon University suggests AI will result in people having lower levels of core human skills like empathy and critical thinking. Researchers surveyed more than 300 tech leaders, analysts, and academics. More than 60% expect AI will have a deep and meaningful or fundamental revolutionary impact on human capabilities over the next decade. As for how the changes will impact humanity for the better or for the worse, about half expected to equal out, a quarter have a negative outlook, and even less see a mostly positive outcome. When it comes to human traits like empathy, moral judgment, mental well-being, and more, the respondents anticipate AI will cause a mostly negative change by 2035. Researchers warn this could have troubling implications for society, like widening polarization. There are areas in which respondents see a mostly positive change: curiosity and capacity to learn, decision-making and problem-solving, as well as innovative thinking and creativity. Many of the concerns raised in the report are centered on how AI will be incorporated into daily life. One expert, Vint Cerf, one of the founders of Internet, noted people are becoming increasingly technology dependent on systems that can fail or get things wrong. U.S. private sector job growth shot higher last month after a weaker February. Companies ramped up hiring in March, a substantial rebound after taking a tepid approach the month before. Payroll firm ADP reports private sector employment rose by roughly 155,000 jobs last month. That's more than economists were expecting, and a sharp rebound from February's 84,000 jobs. ADP's numbers don't always correlate with the official jobs report, but they're sometimes looked to as a proxy for overall hiring. The March jobs report comes out Friday. Forbes has released its list of the world's billionaires for 2025, and one thing is overwhelmingly clear. The United States still leads the pack with the most billionaires on Earth. TD Sean Marshall takes a closer look.
The Forbes billionaire list for 2025 is out, and based on the numbers, the rich are getting significantly richer. There are now over 3,000 billionaires worldwide, 247 more than a year ago, worth $16.1 trillion in total, up by almost $2 trillion from 2024. The number of billionaires in the U.S. tops the world with a record 902. Then China is second with 516, including Hong Kong, and India is third with 205 billionaires. 15 out of 20 of the top billionaires on the Forbes list are located in the United States. Some of the most interesting new U.S. billionaires include Arnold Schwarzenegger at $1.1 billion, thanks to his many years of movie making, stocks, private equity, and real estate investments. Musician Bruce Springsteen at $1.2 billion, with 21 albums, and after selling his music catalog for $500 million to Sony. And comedian Jerry Seinfeld at $1.1 billion, getting a big boost of $500 million from a deal with Netflix to show his sitcom for more than 5 years, along with his many years of stand-up comedy and other streaming shows. The United States is the most successful at creating homegrown wealth and attracting immigrant, ultra-high net worth individuals. Events that happen in the U.S. like tariff adjustments and new technologies can easily shape global markets. And there's possibly some good news for the U.S. billionaires. The International Consortium of Investigative Journalists reports that the IRS unit that audits billionaires has lost 38% of its employees since January. Sean Marshall, NTD News.
And for the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic began, Disney World will have both of its water parks open this summer. Disney's Typhoon Lagoon water park in Lake Buena Vista will open on May 1st. It will remain open for the rest of its scheduled season. And Blizzard Beach in Bay Lake will be open May 21st through September 7th. And as an added bonus, this season, guests staying at Disney Resorts hotels can visit the water parks for free on their check-in date. More than 240 people on board a Cunard luxury cruise ship have gotten sick with novovirus, a highly contagious stomach bug. The Centers for Disease Control and Protection reported the outbreak aboard the Queen Mary 2. The ship is due to return to England on April 6th after a 4-week transatlantic cruise to the Caribbean. The CDC said infected passengers have been quarantined and the ship's crew has increased cleaning on board. The outbreak comes after the worst year for similar cruise ship-based outbreaks in over a decade. The majority of the record-breaking 2024 gastrointestinal outbreaks at sea were novovirus-related. Now that genetic testing company 23andMe has filed for bankruptcy and is seeking a buyer, headlines have raised questions about the safety of using genealogy sites. Here's more.
Genealogy kits have become increasingly popular as more people want to learn about where they came from, but your personal information could be vulnerable.
We really don't have too many laws that protect this information.
Anya Prince is a law professor at the University of Iowa. She says it's important for customers to read these genealogy companies' privacy policies before signing up.
At the federal level, we don't have a general data protection law.
The Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, known as GINA, protects people from being discriminated by insurance companies and employers based on genetic information. And your health information that's collected through these sites is protected through HIPAA. But even if you delete your account, Prince says traces of your information could still be available.
It's not a complete deletion of everything, but it does minimize the amount of data.
Here's how 23andMe works. You're sent a kit to collect a sample of your saliva, and that can spit out a lot of information about you, including health risks for certain diseases, carrier risks, and information about your ancestry line.
Genetic information and health information is so valuable.
23andMe estimates it has 15 million customers. As the company looks to sell, Prince says many companies will be interested to buy because of how valuable that data is.
A medical research company or a pharmaceutical company could find this data helpful. Somebody who wanted to partner with law enforcement to share genetic information might find this useful.
Country music icon Dolly Parton is bringing her signature sparkle to the fashion world. The 79-year-old is teaming up with Khloe Kardashian and the Good American denim brand to launch a limited edition collection called Dolly's Jolines. The collection draws inspiration from Parton's classic hit Jolene and her iconic country style. The line features denim pieces adorned with shimmering rhinestones, among other glitzy details. Dolly's Jolines will be available starting tomorrow at Good American stores online at some Nordstrom locations. And U.S. stock indexes closed higher after a volatile session today as investors positioned themselves ahead of President Trump's anticipated tariffs. So markets initially fell but rebounded. Tech stocks led the rally, with Tesla jumping around 5% after reports that Elon Musk may step back from his government role, offsetting concerns over Tesla's 13% drop in deliveries. Amazon also rose 2% amid reports of a TikTok acquisition bid. And that's it on Business Matters.